An elephant. A Russian wolfhound. And an owl. A camel. A racehorse. We see this young 2-year-old who's at the peak of his skills and his talent, walking away from the camera after he has won an important race with the horseshoe flowers around his neck. This horse, he's such a great runner. He's been winning races in London and Paris and Santa Anita and Kentucky Derby, and he gets to be quite famous. He makes appearances at carnivals and fairs, and his salary goes up, and he gets himself an agent, and he's interviewed on Johnny Carson, and also his footprint is in Grauman's Chinese Theater, and he's signed for a movie contract. He makes a couple of movies, starts drinking a little bit. There are a couple of scandals, a TV series, drug bust and all that, and he gets into trouble and gets in and out of hot soup, and he's really in trouble. And by the time, and loses the William Morris office, everything goes. And by the time he sobers up, he wakes up in an old hotel near an abandoned railroad station, and his job is pulling a junk wagon. This is the end of the movie because you can tell when 2 letters appear into a great big WB. When I want to find out what's going on Broadway, I don't go to the Schuberts or the Nederlanders. I go to the source. I go to Max the doorman, and I say, "How are you, Max?" And he says, "I'm 86 years old, that's how I am." 52 years in show business. I dance, I sing, I get such a headache from dancing. I have danced with bells in my ears. I have danced into and out of the hearts of my countrymen because the whole country gets such a headache from the bells. I did everything. I was an acrobat. Max the Acrobat, everybody knows. I could see the billing, Max the Acrobat on the 3 posters, and I used to hold up 6 people. I held up, I was the understander. 6, I'll show you the varicose veins I got. And I worked only the big time. My act didn't work the small time. I worked Moodus, Connecticut. I worked Sandstone, Minnesota. I worked Tynersville, Massachusetts. I didn't bother with the other stuff. And then I was in the circus. I was a roustabout in the circus, and they wanted me to become an equestrian, but I wouldn't change my religion for anybody. So I became a fire eater. I ate fire in the matinee in the evening, 2 shows a day. It was at the time when I was going with that pretty little girl up on the high wire. She was so cute with her little tutu, and we were engaged, but then she broke up with the engagement because she said I didn't have a flame in my heart, only in my stomach. So I became a ventriloquist. Open your mouth. Now you're a dummy. That's the kind of work I used to do. Then I was a monologist. You know, it's a monologist. When you talk to yourself, that's called a monologist. You know what it's called? When you talk to yourself and 60 million people listen, it's called a success. And then I was a juggler. I juggled a billiard cue, a soft-boiled egg, a pumpernickel bagel, 6 yards, dental floss, everything fell through my fingers, the scenery fell on my head, so I became a doorman at the Palace Theater. I worked and I saw everybody. I worked with Walter Houston and Elsie Janis and Boynton Allen and Jerry Lewis. I get a headache from Jerry Lewis. He hit me on the head all the time. And then you know who is my favorite I got my verse. I love this girl. She's my favorite. It's Judy Garland. I got a picture here. She's on the yellow road with the little braids and the little doggy. Miss Garland, when she sings, it's something in my throat, I don't know. Miss Garland, you made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. You made me want you. And all the time you know it. I guess you always know it. You made me happy sometimes. You made me sad. But there were times, dear, you made me feel so bad, you son of a gun. You remember, Miss Garland, you were working in the Palace Theater. You were doing 2 shows a day. You were there for our long engagement. You used to go out in between shows and do publicity, and you got messages when you came back. You looked so tired. And I said, Miss Garland, go to your dressing room, lie down. Max will get you something to eat, whatever you want. You want art pastrami sandwich and white bread with mayonnaise and with watercress. Miss Garland, for you anything. Give me what I cry for. You got the kind of kissing that I die for. I love you, Judy. That was such a beautiful romantic song that Anita sang. Do you notice that all the romantic songs are given to young and beautiful women and young and beautiful men to sing? I am not a young and beautiful man. Ha 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 to you. See how you are. But I am romantic. I may not look romantic, but there is a churning of romance going on inside of me. And so I will sing a romantic song. Mr. G, would you give me a full moon? Oh, thank you, Mr. G. That's the nicest full moon you ever gave me. You always hurt the one you.
Well, a while back, Frank Field decided that he simply had to have Jack and Madeline Gilford as our guests on Primetime. Why?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. I was cleaning off my bookshelf, and there was a book on the shelf called 160, was it?
70 years.
170, 170 Years of Show Business, written by Madeline Gilford and Kate Mostel, Zero Mostel's wife. And I had read the book before, and I started to read again, and I started to break up, and I said, my God, I must get this woman on. Now, why did you bring your husband? Now, Jack
he contributed to the book,
He did.
So did Zero Mostel.
I know, it was hilarious.
And to the 170 years.
I've got to ask you first. You've been married for 35, 40 years?
36 years.
36
6
years.
months, 2 weeks, 22 minutes.
22 minutes, and it was love at first sight.
Yes, my sight wasn't very good in those days, but it improved. Madeline tells me it was love at first sight.
You are the pussycat of them all, Jack. No, really, I'm saying this.
You dare say that to my face?
Yes. Is this the way that Jack is at home?
Well, no, he's a normal, balanced person with...
He really gets angry
Yeah,
and does...
he's not as angelic as all those cute parts he's been given.
I hope not.
Well, is that why? Have you ever acted the terror in a movie or the bad guy?
Yeah, I did one, a
you
cable
really?
show where I was a killer. You
I
didn't
can't
see me
believe
kill
that.
anybody, but I was a cold, calculating fellow with a very strange look in his eyes. And I played, you know, the warm, sweet, schmaltzy kind of fellows for a long time. And I've been going to doctors to see if I can get rid of that feeling. And
You want to play a bad guy?
Yes, well, in Cocoon, I don't play a very sweet fellow. He's
Well,
a
no,
cranky,
wait a minute. Did you see
he's a
Cocoon,
cranky-
Michelle?
He's a cranky,
Was Jack a
negative,
cranky guy in there?
I don't
cranky,
remember you
negative.
being that cranky.
No, he was.
No.
Well, he wouldn't go along with the rest of the
No, I
show.
wouldn't go along. And I was very negative, and I opposed them on everything. And I got very angry
Rigid.
and had a fight. You must have seen another movie.
No, I
Must-
didn't. I loved it. I loved it.
No, but enough of Jack Gilford.
Enough.
Let's go back to Madeline. No one talks about Madeline the way they do about Jack. So when you go out there
I
and say
do.
this, I know you do.
I talk about
but
her constantly.
you write,
People
you,
say,
do, you do
"Stop
all
talking
kinds of
about
things.
Madeline."
What are you doing now?
Well, I'm an associate producer on a new Broadway musical to be produced by Lee Gruber and Martin Heinfling called Rags. It's about turn-of-the-century immigrant experience, and mainly the Jewish experience, but everyone's
This is a
experience.
Broadway,
Big Broadway show.
which will be on when?
The end of May in New York City.
Have you auditioned Jack for the show? Does he get on? Are you on the show too?
No, I'm
No.
not in the show.
No, that's what's
There's
interesting.
no part for me, really.
Have you ever worked together as a team
Sure,
on Broadway?
We
All the
did,
time.
Not on Broadway. We did up in Woodstock one year, where I did the live wire Goss and Canaan play. And last year we did a cable show for Lorimer Productions.
That Madeline?
I acted in that.
She acted,
But
did
I-
sketches.
I like it best when we work as a team
How about the children?
co-writing.
You have a daughter and you have
We
a
have
son.
3
You have
children.
3 children. Are they all in show business?
Well, I have a son who's up in Massachusetts. He's a jazz musicologist, and he does radio work sometime. He does wonderful tape collages of shows. And my daughter, Lisa, is in Denver, and she is a promoter of events. And my son, Joe Gilford, as we call him, is a director.
Everybody's in show business. How about the grandchildren?
The grandchildren,
You've got grandchildren.
2,
Yeah,
10 and 12.
they're 10 and 12.
Are they going to go into show
One is
business?
in Gypsy at the
One
moment.
is in a community show in Gypsy, and the little girl is playing Becky Thatcher in Tom Sawyer at school.
That's show
And
business.
we do talk show business.
Good, I'm glad to hear
told-
that. Thank you for coming
Oh,
over
thank you for
tonight.
having
and I'm
us.
going to
Right.
keep reading that book. It's wonderful. Michelle.
Okay, thank you all. And James Brady's here to tell us about tomorrow.
bench to be a judge, not to be a whore. He didn't care about what the media said. He saw there was an issue for his fellow Jews. He didn't give a damn. Screw you, he told them. Now, he got a case many years later. William Kunstler was representing Arab terrorists, of course. This was an Arab terrorist who in 1970 had planted a bomb that didn't go off at the Israeli airline. Judge Weinstein had given Rabbi Cohen. and said to him, I want you to give the same sentence to my client. My client's bomb didn't even go off. Rabbi Kahana's bombs did go off. All of Rabbi Kahana's bombs did what they were intended to do. Judge Weinstein gave the